Starfield Vocalist, 3 and a blue human bard, 3/4. If a permanent entering the battlefield caused a triggered ability of a permanent you controlled to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Y'all. Oh my god. What am I? Okay, two different things. First of all, oh my god, this is broken. This is so broken. Second of all, what am I looking at here? What is this? Guys, what is this? Oh my god. Humanity. And we're back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rollsicle. I, of course, am one of the hosts here at the channel. My lovely co-host is out in the living room, being as awesome as she can be. But I am back to continue reviewing the Edge of Eternities set, especially from a limited perspective. We've done multicolored, we've done colorless, all in the same video, and we did white. Now it's time for blue. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday, and let's jump into this, because this set comes out soon, and you might have already pre-released it. So here we go. We start out with a null. By the way, I'm going to try to go quickly through these because there's a lot of them, and I'm realizing how long these videos are going to get. That being said, if you guys haven't liked, comment, subscribed, any all of it, it's greatly appreciated, and we really would love for you to join the Rollsicle family. A null, 1 blue, instant, counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think in this set, probably very powerful, though. So I'm going to give this a 4. Atomic Microsizer, 1 blue artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0. Whenever equipped creature attacks, choose a target. That creature can't be blocked this turn and has base power and toughness at 1/1 until end of turn. So you want like a damage trigger on that. Equipped to, I mean, that's fine. But you really want to have a damage trigger on that. That's fine though. You know, it's like, it's basically ant-manning them so they can get through. I like the effect of it. I just don't know. I haven't seen enough stuff that's like when it deals combat damage to a player. We've seen a little bit, but not a ton. So I think it's fine if you have some of those effects. That being said, don't get too crazy about it. You could do this on the poison one. That's interesting, but yeah. All right, I'll give it like a 3. Cerebral Download, 4 and a blue instant. Surveil X, where X is the number of artifacts you control, then draw 3 cards. That could be pretty powerful. 5 mana, draw 3 with a massive Surveil if you have enough artifacts. Pretty good. I'll give that a 4 or a 5. Cloud Sculpt Technician, 2 and a blue flying. As long as you control an artifact, these creatures. Okay, so you're going to control an artifact. So this is a 3 mana, 2/4 flyer. That's fine, but it's also pretty baseline. I mean, now that's pretty baseline. Back in the day for flying, that would be incredible, but I call that now pretty baseline. It's like on the 2 to 3 category. It's 2 if you don't have an artifact, but 3 is how it's going to land most of the time. Code Cracker Hound, 2 and a blue dog. He or she is so adorable. When this creature enters, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one into your hand, the other into your graveyard. So you do get to draw off of this, and you can warp it, so you can do this effect twice if you want to, but it's pretty expensive. You do get card selection, though. And if you have graveyard synergies, there you go. Graveyard synergies, you can put stuff in your graveyard. So I think it's fine. I don't think it's great. I'll give it a 4. Consult the star charts. 1 and a blue instant with kicker. Look at the top X cards of your library. X is the number of lands you control. Put 1 of those cards into your hand. If the spell was kicked, put 2 of those cards in your hand instead. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. So again, card selection here. I think that's fine. I don't think it's great, but I think it's fine. So I'll say... I'll give it a 6. No, I'm going to give it a 5. Cryogen Relic, 1 and a blue artifact. When it enters or leaves the battlefield, draw a card. That's pretty good. 1 and a blue sack it. Put a stun counter on up to 1 target tapped creature. So you're going to play it, get to draw, have an artifact. Then you're going to sack it later on, stun something, and get another draw out of it. I think that's fine. We'll give it a 4. Cryo Shatter, 1 blue, enchant aura. Enchanted creature gets -5/-0. When enchanted creature becomes tapped or is dealt damage, destroy it. So that's decent. I don't think it's great. They could have something really big, and of course you can always just block it, do some damage, and it'll get destroyed. I think in terms of blue, this is decent removal, so it will land at a 4 for me. A 3 or 4 for me. Disculpting Blast, 1 and a blue instant. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Okay, so bounce. If it was attacking, create a 1/1 drone. Okay, so it's bounce and you can get a drone. Again, bounce is useful, okay? If they spend a lot of mana on it and you bounce, like that's useful, especially if it doesn't have an enters trigger. You could even do it on your own thing if it does have an interest trigger, so not the end of the world. Divert. Oh, I didn't even give it a rank. I'll give it probably a 4. Divert Disaster, 1 and a blue. Counter target spell unless control pays 2. If they do, create a lander token. So if it manages to not get countered, you still get something out of this. I do like that ability. Pay 2 is pretty cheap here, but it does just say target spell, so this could still be pretty useful. I find these pretty useful. You know, in blue, you do a lot of removing before it ever hits the battlefield, right, kind of thing. So that's pretty decent. I will give it a 4 as well. Emissary Escort, 1 and a blue robot soldier, 0/4. It gets plus X plus 0. X the greatest mana value among other artifacts in control. Now, it's mana value. So this thing's going to be, honestly, probably decently sized for 2. I mean, 2 mana for like a 2/4 is fine, right? Like, and then if it gets bigger than that, great. Because it is going to be at least a 2/4. Because, oh, no, it says other artifacts you control. My bad. So... Nah, I think it's fine. You know, if you manage to pull this in your rare slot, you didn't get something crazy, but I think you got like a 4 or a 5. Gigastorm Titan, 4 and a blue. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you cast another spell this turn, so that's pretty good. It helps you get those second cast triggers. And it's just a 2 mana 4/4 if you do that. That's wonderful, honestly. Ilvoy Galeblade, 1 blue, 1/1 flash flying, and you can sack it to draw a card. I mean, flash flying 1/1's pretty decent. You can catch someone off guard. If you have an effect for drawing cards when they hit or something like that, it's pretty decent, but probably lands closer to a 3. Ilvoy Infiltrator, so I guess the Ilvoy or whatever are the jellyfish people. 2 and a blue, rogue, 1/3. It can't be blocked if you've cast 2 or more spells this turn, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So there we go. We see the draw a card triggers right there. What you want to do in limited? Draw a card. So automatic 4 for me. I like this card. Ilvoy Light Jammer. Equipment. Flash. When it enters, attach it to target creature. That creature gains hexproof. So there you go. And equip creature is +1/+2. That's actually pretty good. The hexproof is nice as well. I like this a lot, actually. I like this equipment more than I think I like a combat trick. So for that, it's going to get a 4 from me. Ilvoy Operative. Yeah, I spelled that right. 1 and a blue, jellyfish, rogue, 2/1. Whenever you cast your second spell, you turn, put a +++ counter on this creature, so it can get bigger. That's not great though. Probably lands around a 3. Lost in Space, 3 and a blue, instant. Target artifact or creature's owner puts it on their choice at the top or bottom of that. Okay, so we've seen this a lot. This type of effect a lot. It tends to be pretty good. If they put it on top, then they're going to have to draw it. Great, you've gotten them down a draw, essentially, and then they have to play it, so they're down mana. Surveil's nice on this as well. Typically, we see that doing pretty good. Probably lands around a 4. Mechanic Assembler, 4 and a blue, artifact creature, 4/4. When another artifact you control enters, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Incredible. That's just incredible. If you can make another artifact, you got 6/6 out of 5 mana. That's pretty good. And then every time you're making more artifacts. This doesn't say non-token artifact either. So if you have something that brings in a lander, or if you, I mean, that's just great. This is just really good. I'm going to call this a 5 or even a 6 out of 10. Mecha Navigator, 1 and a blue robot pilot, 2/1. Whenever this becomes tapped, draw a card, then discard. Some card cycling there is never a bad thing. And tapped is going to be for stationing. So pretty decent. Probably landing around a 4. Mechanozoa, there we go. Robot jellyfish artifact creature, a 6 mana 5/5. When it enters, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it, and you can warp it to do the tapping and stunning ability. That's pretty decent if you need time to catch up, if you're doing like a Simic late game strategy or something along those lines. I think this is fine, but it probably lands around a 3. Mech and Shield Mate, 1 and a blue, 3/2 Defender. As long as an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, this creature can attack as though it didn't have Defender. Okay, so it's 2 mana, 3/2 sometimes. That's pretty bad. I'm going to give that a 2, maybe borderline 3. Mental Modulation, 1 and a blue, instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast during your turn. So 1 on your turn, tap target artifact or creature, and then draw a card. Sure, it's cantrips on your turn with some other effect. That's fine. Probably 3 to 4. I don't even know if I want to pronounce this. Manon, the right hand. Jellyfish Advisor, 3/4 flying. Okay, we're getting a look at the top card of your library anytime. It can cast artifact spells from the top of your library, is very good. Artifacts you control have tap, add a blue. Spend this mana only to cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. Okay, so you can use that to cast the ones from the top of your library. But you can only cast artifact spells from the top of your library. And you can't use that mana. Honestly, not broken. So we didn't get another Urza essentially here, right? But still pretty powerful. You know, in very heavy artifact themed decks, this is going to be very good still. So you know, good on that. For constructed, in limited, flying 3/4, 5 mana. Look at the top card of your library. You can pay artifacts, and artifacts your artifacts can tap to. Is fine. I think it's probably going to land around the 5 category, which is, you know, better than really most commons and uncommons. So play it if you have it. But Moonlit Meditation. 2 and a blue, aura, enters artifact or creature you control. First time you would create one or more tokens each turn. You may instead create that many tokens that are copies of the enchanted permanent. So this just gets stupid in certain decks. This is a do nothing when it enters. Unless you're going to make tokens that turn, unless you've already got that synergy set up, or you second spell. I think you need to be careful around this. I think you need to be very careful around this card. I think this is very good in constructed. I think you have to be very careful in limited. So I'm gonna give it a 3 in limited for that, because this is gonna do nothing a lot, but powerful if you manage to do something with it. Oh, that's just the borderland, huh? Mouth of the Storm, 6 and a blue, 6/6 flying with ward 2. Whenever it enters, creatures your opponents control rate -3, -0 until your next turn. Decent little combat check on a creature, but nothing crazy. Probably lands at a 3 or a 4. Nanoform Sentinel, robot, 3 mana, 3/2. Whenever it becomes tapped, untap another target permanent. Very powerful. If you station something that's really big, and then you tap this to station as well, and you untap the thing that you tapped that was really big, this is very powerful. For specifically these mechanics. This is one of those things I'd say in constructed, you're not actually going to see this a ton. You might see this in like commanders that have certain tap abilities, because then you can trigger them twice. That being said, I'm going to say this probably lands in limited around probably around a 4. There's a lot that you can do with tapping creatures. So here we go. Quantum Riddler, 3 and 2 blue Sphinx. All right, we got a 4/6 flying. When it enters, draw a card. Already great for 5. As long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, if you would draw 1 or more cards, you draw that many cards plus 1 instead. Okay, so this isn't interesting. This like wants you to have played most of your cards, or you're not benefiting from that effect, right? You have to have 1 or fewer cards in hand. So that part's not great, but I do think this is a pretty good mythic. This thing's getting priced pretty high, but of course we are not even at pre-release yet. Pre-release is actually the day of recording these, so hope you guys have a great pre-release if you're going. Scour for Scry. Oh, I didn't even give that a rating. That being said, in limited, 5 mana, 4/6 flyer that enters and draws you a card so it replaces itself is incredible. 7 at least, probably 8. And in limited, you're much more likely. This doesn't say other than the one you draw per turn. So this is actually incredible in limited. And pretty good in a lot of constructed decks. So this thing's landing at an 8 or 9 out of 10 easy. Scour for Scrap, 3 and a blue, instant. Choose one or both. Search your library for an artifact card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, so 4 mana tutor for an artifact. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Wow, okay, cool. That's great, artifact tutor. If you have the right artifacts in your deck, this is very playable. But, again, be careful. 4 mana doesn't do a whole lot, right? So it probably lands around a 4. Very good and constructed. Self-Craft Mechan. This is Robot Artificer, 4 mana, 3/4. When it enters, you may sack an artifact. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and draw a card. Okay, sure, why not? A little bit of Bant synergy there, because I can work with Celestia, right? That being said, I don't think this is broken. Probably lands around a 3. Sinister Cryologist. There we go. 3 mana Jellyfish Wizard, 2/3. Enters, target creature gets -3/-0, then opponent controls, and you can warp it. Sure, I think it's fine, but doesn't do anything crazy. Probably lands in the 2 or 3 category. Sorry for having a tough time here. My face is itching like nobody's business. All right, Specimen Freighter. 5 and a blue spacecraft. When the spacecraft enters, return up to 2 target non-spacecraft creatures to their owner's hand. So double bounce, decent. 6 mana though, 6 mana double bounce, but then you've got a station for 9. Flying, whenever this spacecraft attacks, defending player mills 4 cards. I like the mill part, but 4/7 flying, it's okay. It probably lands around a 4. Star Breach Whale, 5 mana, 3/5 flying, enters Surveil 2 with some warp going on there. If you want that Surveil trigger early on, sure. I mean, these cards that have other effects is pretty nice, so that kind of bumps them up to a 4, but it might be bordering on a 3. It's not crazy. Starfield Vocalist, 3 and a blue human bard, 3/4. If a permanent entering the battlefield caused a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Y'all. Oh my god. What am I? Okay, two different things. First of all, oh my god, this is broken. This is so broken. Second of all, what am I looking at here? What is this? Guys, what is this? Oh my god. Humanity. Please. Y'all. I mean, I'm all for this. I'm all for this fellow, but what am I looking at? All right, let's break this down. If a permanent entering, so that's if a land enters, if a human enters, if a creature enters, if an enchantment enters, all of those things you can double off of this. This is going to go in so many decks. And it's a 3/4. Whenever another creature enters, doubles. Whenever a land enters, doubles. God. These prices are really low for this effect. I think this is going to go up a lot. It's a 4 mana 3/4 on top of that ability. This is just great. I don't think it's game breaking in limited. I think in limited it's probably about a 7 out of 10, which is still, play it, right? But, God, y'all. All right, Starwinder, 5 and 2 blue, 7/7. Whenever a creature you control does combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards? Creature you control deals 7 damage. Sure, draw 7. That's incredible. Great rare there. Great rare. 7 mana, 7/7 is already good. Warp for that ability, so you can sneak in an extra, draw 3 or 4 if you get a creature through. This is really good. Very powerful card. 7 or 8 out of 10. Steel Swarm Operator. 1 and a blue, 1/1, robot soldier flying. Tap, add a blue, spin only to cast an artifact. Tap, add 2 blue, spin this mana only to activate abilities of artifact sources. Sure. I mean, you're going to have a very heavy artifact deck. But if you do, very useful. Good little mana dork. I'm going to say probably about a 4. Synthesizer Lab Ship. 1 blue, nothing. Okay, so 1 blue, nothing. Get it to 2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 other target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness. 2/2 and gains flying. Oh, okay, sure. And then later, you can get this up to a flying vigilance. Okay, sure. So it doesn't do anything, but it turns your other artifacts into creatures with flying. So that's pretty decent. I'm not going to hate on this. I don't think it's broken, though. Probably lands around the 5 to 6 category. But again, that's higher than most, so play it if you can. 2 and 2 blue, Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature or spacecraft. When it enters, tap enchanted permanent. You control enchanted permanent. Nice. So take a creature, tap that creature, enchanted permanent. Okay, so you can steal effects here. You can't steal the creature or the spacecraft itself, but you can steal any sort of passive effect that it has. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Honestly, props to this card to just say I'm gonna steal your this creature that's doing that. I can't Esper Sentinel. I'm gonna steal your Esper Sentinel and construct it, right? Crazy. I think in limited it's fine because it does remove something, but it's pretty expensive for it, so it probably lands in the 3 to 4 category. Unravel, 3 mana, counter target spell. If the amount of mana spent to cast that spell was less than its mana value, you draw a card. Huh, that's interesting. 3 mana counter is not great, but you have the potential upside of drawing a card, but it's not a very likely upside of drawing a card, I don't think. So just keep that in mind. Oh, well, you could counter a warp, couldn't you? Yeah, that's what it is. You could counter a warp. Okay, and then you draw off of that. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Euthros Psionicist. There we go. Jesus Christ. Euthros Psionicist. Jellyfish Scientist. 2 and a blue. Second spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. This is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. This is an uncommon that's honestly, I mean, maybe it's not going to get higher than this, but this is just phenomenal, right? This is just going to let you, flurry and flurry decks. This is going to let you, I mean, this is just great. This is what you want. 3 mana, 2/4 is already good. And then this is just great. Also, you can play it out and then something else after it for pretty cheap. So, you throw Scan Ship, 3 and a blue. When it enters, draw 2, then discard a card. Okay, fine. So some card cycling there with some benefit. And then 8+, it becomes a 4/4 flyer. Probably landing around that 3 to 4 category. All right, and our last one here, we're left off with a mythic, Weft Walking. That honestly sounds like I said it with a lisp, but I promise I didn't. 4 and 2 blue enchantment. When it enters, if you cast it, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards. This first spell each player casts during each of their turns may be... Do I want my opponents casting their first spell during each of their turns? Okay, in Limited, I'm going to say don't play this. Like, sure, I understand this is supposed to be a late game. I've got like 1 or 2 cards in hand. They've got 1 or 2 cards in hand. And I go up to 7. So I will give it a 3 or maybe 4 in Limited because of that. So you can play it. But the first spell each player casts during each of their turns may be cast without paying its mana cost. Benefits other players quite a bit. That's not even just nothing. But that's going to be very interesting to see in Constructed. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that that's got some hype around it. Not a ton, but it's going to be really interesting. All right, next card is black, which we will get to tomorrow. If you guys want to check out all the black cards and watch me go through them all and react and all those crazy things, you guys can tune in tomorrow. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite blue card was. I'm intrigued with this Weft Walking, and that one dude that doubles any enters trigger is just insane. Just insane. God, and it's on a rare, too. And I know we have some crazy stuff coming up in the other colors that I've, like, heard spoiled, so... Boy, we're barely halfway through this, aren't we? Thank you guys for being so awesome. If you haven't joined the Rollsicle family, please do. We've got a lovely co-host in Ashley. She's way more awesome than I am. She's also my fiance, so, you know, I'm always going to say that. But she's doing all this stuff behind the scenes, so definitely give her some love down in the comments below. We'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, may those rolls be ever in your favor. See you guys next time. Peace out. Bye, y'all.